Everyone at Lagos Airport stopped to stare. Who were they looking at? Not a movie star, not a governor's wife. It was Sandra, the flight attendant, walked like a queen. Her heels clicked like drumbeat. Her perfume spread like a warning. And her smile said one thing: I am better than you. But pride has sharp wings. And that day, Sandra was about to fly too close to fire. Sandra's heels clicked on the shiny marble floor like the sound of a queen's drum. The Lagos airport was alive that afternoon, but when the flight attendant of Mife Airlines walked into the terminal, the noise dropped. All eyes turned. People whispered, phones lifted for secret pictures, and smiles spread across faces. The crew looked like movie stars, tall, sharp, and dressed in crisp navy blue uniforms with gold trims. But Sandra stole the show. Her skin glowed like fresh palm oil in the sun. Her wavy hair sat proudly on her head, and the way her hips swayed made even children stop sucking their lollipops. She didn't just walk. Oh no, she floated, flashing her perfect smile as if she owned the whole airport. Every step screamed, I am posh. But just when she was enjoying the glory, someone blocked her way. It was a man in a faded shirt and slippers that was almost breaking at the side. He wore a trouser that looked like they had fought with fire and lust. His hair stood anyhow. His eyes looked tired. And his bag was tied with rope. The smell of sweat followed him like a stubborn spirit. Excuse me, madam, the man said softly. Can you help me find the right gate? I don't understand these boards. Sandra froze, then laughed lightly, loud enough for people nearby to hear. Me? Gate? Do I look like an airport guide? She asked, tilting her chin like royalty. The man scratched his head. I just thought. Before he could finish, Sandra raised her hand and snapped her fingers. Please, don't disturb my shine. And then, in a moment of pride that would follow her forever, she pulled out her perfume bottle, sprayed it in the air between them, and waved him off as if chasing a fly. Laughter erupted around them. The man lowered his eyes, nodded slowly, and walked away. He said nothing. But the way his silence carried weight, it was as if thunder had whispered, Sandra, you just made the worst mistake of your life. The plane hummed softly as passengers settled in. Sandra strolled down the aisles, her heels clicking like a commander leading troops. She adjusted her cap, checked her reflection in the shiny mirror, and flashed that signature smile. Other attendants moved with quiet grace. But Sandra? She moved like the main character in a Nollywood blockbuster. Her eyes scanned the passengers until they landed on a familiar figure. The same shabby man from the terminal. He sat awkwardly near the window, his rope-tied bag squashed under his feet. His shirt looked even more tired under the cabin light, and his belt hung loose around his waist. Sandra smirked. Of all planes in Lagos, this man had to enter mine? The man raised his hand timidly. Madam Flight Attendant, please, can you help me fasten this seatbelt? I have tried, but it's confusing me. The passengers around perked their ears. Some smiled, waiting for drama. Sandra's eyes widened. Seatbelt? You mean at your age you don't know how to clip a simple belt? The man scratched his head. I know they travel often. Now my first time inside plane. Sandra let out a sharp laugh that echoed down the house. First time? Oh, no wonder. Look at you. She leaned closer, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Uncle, this is not Molwe. This is an airplane. If you cannot buckle yourself, maybe you should return to your keke. The nearby passengers chuckled. A young boy covered his mouth, trying not to laugh. Even one businessman shook his head in pity. Sandra bent, pretending to help, but instead, she snapped the two ends of the belt together with exaggerated force, clapping her hands like a teacher finishing homework. There, even a baby could do it. Next time, sir, try watching cartoons. They teach these things. The shabby man smiled faintly, said thank you, and looked out the window. He didn't fight back. He didn't argue. He didn't even frown. His calm silence only made Sandra feel more powerful. She straightened her shoulders and strutted down the aisles, soaking in the admiration of those who had witnessed her little performance. But what she didn't know was that the same silence, the same quiet nod was the seed of a storm that would soon turn her world upside down. Sandra strutted through the airport lounge like a queen returning from battle. Her colleagues trailed behind her, their laughter and chatter rising, but all eyes were still glued to her. Sandra, you dey waka like say you own the airline, oh. One of the junior attendants is. Correction. Sandra flipped her braids and lifted her chin. I don't just walk like I own it. I act like it. One day, this company will thank me for carrying their name with class. She sat down elegantly, crossing her legs like she was on a magazine cover. Her friend, Kemi, shook her head. Sandra, you safe. Sometimes I wonder if na pride could carry you reach grave. Sandra gasped dramatically, placing her hand on her chest. Pride? No, this is not pride, my sister. This is standard. If you people like, keep behaving like villagers. Me, I know who I am. The others laughed, but deep down, some rolled their eyes. Sandra was beautiful, no doubt. Her confidence was magnetic. But sometimes, it crossed into arrogance. So sharp, it cut people the wrong way. As she sipped her juice, she spotted the shabbily dressed man again. The same one from the plane. He was quietly sitting at a corner, sipping water from a nylon sachet. Sandra leaned closer to her colleagues and whispered loud enough for some nearby passengers to hear. See him, always following me around like a bad smell. Can you imagine the embarrassment? Asking me to buckle his seatbelt. Who even trained these bush people before they enter plane? The table erupted in laughter. Sandra enjoyed it, basking in the moment like a star on stage. But as the shabby man lifted his eyes, there was no anger in them, just calm, watchful silence. He smiled faintly, almost like someone who knew a secret no one else did. But in that same moment, the shabby man stood up, finished his water, and walked away with the quiet confidence of someone who knew her world was about to turn upside down. The next morning, Sandra walked into the Mayfair Airlines headquarters like she owned half the shares. Her heels clicked proudly on the marble floor, echoing across the wide hall. Staff members bowed slightly, some out of respect, others out of fear of her sharp tongue. Sandra smirked. Ah, they know their queen, she whispered to herself. But her confidence cracked when a stern voice called from behind. Miss Sandra, the CEO wants to see you now. Her heart skipped. The CEO? What could he possibly want with her? She adjusted her scarf, powdered her nose quickly, and followed the assistant into the boardroom. Inside sat Chief Bright, the founder of Mayfair Airlines, a man known across Nigeria as a lion in business. His grey hair glistened under the chandelier, and his eyes were sharp and commanding. Sandra immediately felt small. Sit down, Chief Bright said without looking up. Sandra obeyed, her legs trembling under the table, even though she forced a smile on her face. Do you have an explanation, he asked, for why you humiliated a passenger on my airline? Sandra froze. Her mind raced. How could the CEO know about that man? He was just a shabby nobody. She tried to form words. Sir, it was a misunderstanding. The man was... Just then, the door opened, and the same shabbily dressed man walked in quietly. Sandra's jaw dropped. You again, she blurted, before remembering where she was. I mean, sir, what is he doing here? Chief Bright's voice thundered. That man is my son, Femi Bright. The world tilted. Sandra's ears rang. She looked at Femi, still dressed like a struggling mechanic, and back at the father. Your son? Yes, Chief Bright snapped. He disguised himself to learn how my staff treats people. And you, Miss Sandra, you failed the test miserably. Sandra's heart pounded like a talking drum. Sweat gathered at her forehead. She wanted the ground to open and swallow her. Sir, please, I can explain. But Femi raised his hand. Calm, sharp, but deadly. No, father, don't sack her. Sandra's eyes widened in shock. He was saving her? Chief Bright frowned. And why not? She insulted you. She embarrassed our airline. Femi turned slowly, fixing Sandra with a look she would never forget. Because, father, I have a better punishment. She will marry me. Sandra leapt to her feet. What? Marry you?